so one day I was sitting here drinking my coffee, 7:45 in the morning, and a car pulled in. It was a little early, but you know, what the heck, who cares? And I look out and I see this guy coming, and he's a friend of mine and stuff. And he comes in and he opens the door to the office, and he hurries up and he slams the door right behind him. And I was looking at him, I was like, "What's up, man?" He looks at me and he's like, "Dude, I've been thinking about this stuff that you've been telling me about Bigfoot and this and that over the years. You know, this is many years ago too." But he goes, "I've been thinking about that." He's like, "And there's either a chimpanzee or a Bigfoot in these woods up here," and he told me right where he's at and this and that. And he's like, "There's either a chimpanzee or Bigfoot in there." And I was like, "Oh, yeah." You know, it just blew me away that this guy said he either saw a chimpanzee or he saw Bigfoot, and there was nothing in between. There was no place for anything in between. That's what it was. So anyways, here was the story. The night before, him and his old lady, they were having a dispute, and things were starting to get pretty heated and all this and that. And you know, he did something that I thought was pretty smart. He grabbed his coon dogs and he went to the woods. He had 2 coon dogs and he went to the woods. And granted, he took a jar of moonshine with him, but oh well, you know, nobody's perfect, you know. So anyways, he goes out in the woods with his dogs. He ended up going out and doing something really responsible, taking his coon dogs into the woods, you know, and just like getting out of there. And you know, I was really kind of proud of the guy, and I still am. But I mean, you know, he was getting away from that situation. So he said to me, he's like, you know, it come to a point. He's like, I looked at her and I went and I grabbed a quart of moonshine and I grabbed my 2 hunting dogs and I went out to the woods. And I was like, you know, that's a pretty good way to handle it. Better than what could have been. You know, it seemed like it was all right. So he grabbed his 2 coon dogs and a quart of moonshine, and he went to the woods. And I know this woods that he was talking about too. So you know, he's out like I don't know, muttering or whatever. Him and his dogs are out there, and you know, thinking he could have, she could have, whatever. So they go here and they go there, and they're going up into the woods a ways. And his dog, the female, it was kind of an all-star dog. I mean, it was a good dog, and the male was not bad either. And I don't know if they were like black and tans or plots, or I don't know what kind of dogs they were, but they were pretty good dogs. I mean, they were fairly good dogs at least. And like I say, the female, she was an all-star. So he goes and he hears the male, and it's really braying or whatever you want to call it, like it's really barking on something, and it's just up around there. And he's like, oh, he's got something there. Well, right about that time, his female come, and it laid right on his shoes. It laid right on his shoes and began urinating on itself. And I mean, he looked at that as like his premier hunting dog, and he looks at that and he's like, "You got to be kidding me! You know, like you've never done this before." And it was laying right there, and he's like, "Come on, what are you doing?" It was so out of the ordinary for him. Well, he steps around it and he starts going to the other dog. He doesn't know what's going on with the female. He goes to the male dog, and it's like, it's really going on something. It's really barking hard. So the dog is, the female dog is behind him. The male dog is there still braying at the animal or whatever, and he's looking right at it, like it looks right at him. He looks at it, and he's in total awe. And he says it's like 6.5 foot tall and this kind of thing. So is a juvenile or whatever. And as they're looking at each other, the dog takes a bite out of its ass, and it reaches down and it grabs the dog, and it whips that dog out through the woods. It didn't kill it, but I mean, he whipped it pretty good. And so it's out of the picture now. And it looks back at my friend, and it looks at him again, and when they look at each other, it just goes like this. It jumps up into the tree, and it's like, ba-bap, 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 ba-bap. He's like, it was like an Olympic athlete going from tree to tree to tree to tree to tree. He never even hit the ground. He was just in the trees, boom, boom, boom. He was right out of there. That was it. He was gone. That was the end of it. My friend he's looking at it, he's like, you gotta be kidding me. He's like, there's my female dog urinating on itself. There's the male dog licking its wounds. And there's me standing looking at a tree when this thing went up this tree, and it just went tree to tree to tree to tree to tree. And I mean, it was gone right now. And luckily for my friend, he's not the kind of guy who scares easy at all. He's been in a lot of situations in his life, and he really doesn't scare easy at all. And now granted, the one is urinating on itself, and the other one is pitched off to the side, licking its wounds and whatever, but still they stood their ground. I mean, the dogs stood their ground with their master. I mean, he had a lot to be proud of, actually. This is kind of like, hillbilly logic and stuff, but I mean, still, he had a lot to be proud of. He had to walk home, but I think he'd done that walk many times before. And I really don't think he was scared, actually. Probably, if anything, he was really scared about when he got home. Hopefully he made up with the missus, but maybe they didn't make up. Who knows? That's absolutely none of my business. But, hopefully they made up, and, everything was good and all this kind of stuff. But who knows? I just don't know.
Behind the hills, I can't wish it back. Feels like I've been here once before, and I fell right down to the ground. One thing about you, you stay the same. Don't wanna be the only one, be the one caught looking like a fool. Don't like the taste of it. packed up all my shit and headed out the door. And I can't get back the things that I stole. And I won't walk away from this life I love. Got down on my knees and kissed the stars above. Don't wanna be the only one, be the one caught looking like a fool. Don't wanna live with that, don't like the taste of it. Place bets and take the pills, tell me what I like. Seems like I have been told all this before. Yell in my face, don't hear a sound. I feel no guilt, I feel no pain. Don't wanna be the only one, be the one caught looking like a fool. Don't like the taste of it.